So I don't know if you've seen my last video. I quit nursing and became a stripper. But ever since stripping my life of that job, I've started to think and be like, you know what? I need to start taking my environment more seriously. My friend had a good point where you can't expect to bloom and harvest and grow if you're not giving yourselves the things that you need, like adequate rest, sleep, and water, and social time, and spiritual life, and all those things. And I was getting none of that. And when I was working as a nurse, I was doing my best to serve other people so much that I was like forgetting myself. Anyways, so I read this book called Not a Fan, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, and this other book, which is less well known, called Seven by Jen Hatmaker. And the first one, Not a Fan, convinced me that I need to start taking my spiritual life more seriously and that I need to be more fully committed to my walk with Jesus, because in the end of the day, that's all that really matters. It took me so long to get to the point where I was, ready to quit my job as a nurse because I was making great money. I had worked my entire life up to this point working towards getting that degree, and it felt crazy and scary to think about just throwing it away and quitting, walking away from that and doing something else. But I'm so glad I did. And then the other book, Seven, it was about how this girl, or this lady, woman, whatever, she identified 7 areas of her life that she needed to cut back in that were kind of taking over. For her, it was like food, shopping, waste, stress, clothes, and how like those were taking up so much of her mind and heart space that they were kind of blocking her from being with God. And so I was like, you know what? I need to start taking my environment more seriously and start feeding myself the things that I need, because the only thing you can take with you at the end of the day is your spirituality and your character. I could be doing a lot more with my life for God than being miserable as a nurse and like failing and drowning spiritually. So I came up with this thing called Take 5 for myself. And people are like, they need a minute to just de-stress and just go away for a minute and regroup and rethink and come back. They're like, I'm gonna go take 5. So for me, Take 5, I'm going to be taking 5 different areas of my life. I was inspired by the previous book, but I kind of made it more encompassing. So instead of being specific areas like clothes, food, stress, waste, I made them as all-encompassing as I could think of. So the areas I'm going to be looking at is the mind, the body, the heart, the soul, and the spirit. And then those categories are broken up into subcategories. And I'm going to be taking 1 month to focus on each one. The first one I'm going to start with is the body. Because I feel like back in the Bible times, people would fast a lot to get, prepare their bodies, discipline their bodies so their minds and hearts could be open to receive Jesus. And so I'm just putting this out there because this is going to take me 5 months to go through all 5 of these different things. But I'm really convicted and committed to the fact that, we have this one life, and we can either spend it chasing after success and prestige and money and all the things that the world says we need to have, having that good job, getting that degree, or, we can focus on the things that really matter, improving our character, improving our spirituality so that we're able to give back to others and not portray God in a negative way. So I'm posting this so that everyone who sees it will know that I'm doing it and be able to keep me accountable. Because if I were just to do it secretly, it'd be easier for me to give up and to quit, being like, oh, well, no one will know about it, so it's fine. But now that everyone who sees this video will know, and I'm just going to tell myself that everyone on Facebook is seeing it, so that in my mind, it's harder to say no and give up because the whole world knows, even though probably nobody's going to watch this video, it's fine. So my tentative start date is going to be July 15, when I start the category of the body. And with the body, I'm going to be focusing on food, sleep, and exercise, which are 3 things that I have seriously neglected for the past 1.5 to 2 years working as a nurse. For food, I'm only going to be limiting myself to eating 10 items. I know that sounds crazy, but I get really overwhelmed when I go shopping. I never know what to get or what I need to eat. And so I just start grabbing random things, and usually they're like prepackaged items or things that aren't good for you, like goldfish. So I have researched healthy foods, discussed with a nutritionist, consulted with some of my cooking friends that actually know how to cook and stuff, because my definition of cooking is putting ramen noodles in the microwave. And so the 10 foods that I'm limiting myself to this month, so I don't get overwhelmed going to the grocery store, I know exactly what I'm supposed to eat, is kale, whole grain bread, quinoa, blueberries, avocado, banana, almonds, hummus, only if I make it from scratch, which is going to be interesting, black beans, and cauliflower. So I'm going completely vegetarian, completely vegan for this month. For sleep, oh, and only water, no juice, coffee, tea, or anything. Sleep, I'm going to have lights out by 10 o'clock. That's like ridiculous for me, because I'm like a go to bed at like maybe 2 or 3 in the morning type person. That's probably why I have permanent circles under my eyes. But anyways, or go to bed earlier if I need to wake up early in order to get at least 8 hours of sleep. Exercise, I'm going to make sure I do stretches every morning, push-ups and sit-ups every night before I go to bed, do a 30-minute walk every day, and go to the gym 3 times a week. So those are the things that I'm looking at for month 1, which is the body. After that will come the mind, and I will give you all some more information about that when that comes. So please feel free to ask me how it's going, keep me accountable. If you are willing to join my council, so to speak, so I can ask questions like, hey, I know I'm only limited to these 10 food items, but can I put yeast flakes on my kale, or is that cheating? You can help give me your input. Part of the other reason why I'm limiting it to 10, rather than just saying, oh, I'm just going to be vegan and vegetarian and just eat, is because I mentioned I get overwhelmed. But also because when you think about all the other people in the world who are starving, and we have so much, I've never had to worry about missing a meal. I can just go to Taco Bell right now. Well, I'm in the middle of Colorado in the mountains. But usually I can go to Taco Bell or Burger King and just get whatever I want. Or I'll have like a whole fridge full of food and look at it and be like, oh, there's nothing to eat, and close the fridge. When there's literally people starving in like Uganda and they haven't eaten anything in like several days. Or all they have to eat is the same thing over and over and over again. And I feel like, how ungrateful and spoiled am I to have such access to all this food and then be like, oh, there's nothing to eat, or have availabilities to eat healthy and then choose to eat like crap anyways. So I'm purposely trying to eat healthy and get rid of my junk food addiction problem, because it's actually a problem. And kind of in a way it's a fast, even though I'm still eating, to just remember that there are people out there who have less. I kind of thought about the whole fasting and not eating during the day thing, but I was like, I barely eat as it is. My friends know this. I can like not eat for like a whole day and just not be hungry because I forgot, and be like, oh, it's fine, and just eat like 3 Oreos. So I figured if I actually fasted, I might actually die or have some serious problems. So I was like, maybe I should like have a positive fast where I'm like forced to eat healthy, rather than a negative fast where I just don't eat anything at all. Anyway, so this concludes that. I'm excited and a little nervous about this whole 5-month endeavor I'm about to take on, but I think it'll be good, and I am hopeful that you guys will spend the journey with me and that you can benefit from what I'm going through. Anyways, take 5.